Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy YBP Gang, YBP Nation, YBP Boxing, YBP MMA, and we just got done watching the UFC 304 press conference. And y'all see the title. I'm gonna be talking about why BELAL Muhammad won the press conference. Pretty much, just going through essentially what happened off the top of my head. I didn't do any notes for the card. I was excited for this press conference, man. I'm excited for this whole card. Not really sure why, but something about this card has me more excited than the 303. 302, 301, not quite 300, but something about this card just has me really excited. 'Cause I think major storyline changes are ready to, shape up. We're really going to see how good BELAL is. We're going to see, Aspinall gets another athletic heavyweight. We're going to see, how good is Paddy Pimblett. So this is a lot of stuff that is going to come out of this card, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play out, how the fights, how they happen and, what comes of it. So I'm super excited on that specifically, but just talking about the press conference, not the most exciting press conference. We saw some moments from Paddy Pimblett and Bobby Green going back and forth. Bobby Green was taking a more respectful approach. Seems like Paddy Pimblett was on smoke. He wanted to start something about the recording and why it's personal. The reporters were trying to feed into that, as to why they're beefing or why there's something going on. But Bobby Green shut that down. He was like, I was just taking the piss. In his words, so he wasn't really taking it seriously, and so Paddy laid off him. So it seems like they're cool, not fake beef necessarily, but it seems like there isn't that animosity that there was prior. So partially because of Bobby Green had this little moment where he was like, "I'm here for you guys, I'm here for the fans," like a Sean Strickland-esque moment. So that was pretty cool to see. The England fans didn't really appreciate it because they're going for their guy, but ultimately, it was fun to see. And then not much moments with Aspinall and Blades. I think they have respect for each other because they've already fought. So, a bunch of respectful remarks. There is, I'm going to be trying to post it. Hopefully the UFC doesn't take down my video. So I already have 2 copyright strikes. I got one from the PFL and I got one from, I forgot where, but yeah, I'm hoping the UFC doesn't, please, UFC, if you see this video, please, chill on me, I'm just a young up-and-coming YouTuber. I'm not taking away your money. You know what I'm saying? I don't even have ad revenue or nothing like that. I'm just a young buck trying to make it in the world. Chill on me, please. But yeah, man, I got copyright struck, so hopefully I'm gonna try to post a video on there's this moment where Tom Aspinall, a reporter, I think it's Drake Riggs, one of those guys, he's talking about asking about who are the 2 best heavyweights, and Aspinall says, we're the 2 best heavyweights, blah, 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 and, the Jones-Miocic fight doesn't really mean that much, and this is we're the 2 real best guys. And then the reporter expounds upon that and is like, hey, Dana, will the winner of this fight unify with the winner of Jones-Miocic? And Dana White said yes, but it's I don't know, it's a reluctant yes. It's almost like he said yes, but he didn't want to. He's looking down. It was like a kid getting sent to the principal's office and they're like, yes. He didn't say it in that voice, but you look at his body language, he did not want to say that. So I don't know if he's lying. Immediately when that happened, I was like, nah, he's capping. There's no way. Because in my personal opinion, I don't think that fight's going to happen. I don't think Jones, if Jones wins, I don't think he's going to challenge Aspinall. Because at the end of the day, between even though Dana White might want them to unify or might want them to fight, he can't force anything. So if Jones wants to retire, which I think a lot of fans expect him to, after the Miocic fight, he's going to do what he wants to do. So for Dana White to sit up there and be like, I think he probably would have just been best saying, I don't know. Or, instead of just giving false hope. He's done this before where he's promised people the next title shot. He said in the Hamzat Usman fight, the winner gets the title shot. That didn't happen. Hamzat was supposed to fight. I forgot who he was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Whitaker. So he makes these false promises to promote the fights. I get it, but I think you're always better off just telling the truth. But he's a promoter. He's supposed to do that. So that was the real big moment from that. And then the main event with BELAL and Leon, a couple moments there. They had the elevator moment that was on Embedded. That went viral. BELAL, people were saying BELAL, he's supposed to not be scared. He was like, and then when Leon came in, it seemed like the body language kind of changed. In my opinion, I felt that BELAL held his own. I didn't see any crazy thing with the body. Not that I'm a body language expert, but it seemed like he held his own. It seemed like he, wasn't really scared in that moment. I don't know. That's just me. It's hard to really tell, and I don't know how much that really constitutes to the fight. If that even really matters. But it seemed like BELAL wasn't that scared. They had some little remarks. He said called him a female. No, actually, let me not even say that. YouTube might take this video down, but you go watch the video. He called him. They both called each other stuff crazy, saying their breath smells and all this type of stuff. Bilal's just there chewing his gum. So that got mentioned at the press conference pretty much, talking about who's scared of who. Leon said Bilal's not intimidating, reiterating that. And then I think the big moment where I think Belal won was one at the press conference where he was making fun of. Every time Belal would, make a remark about Leon, all Leon would do was just, kind of make a waving motion that like get out of here. Like if you were gonna tell someone to get out of here, he made that motion with his hands. He was like just waving his hand like, bro, F what this guy's talking about. Get out of here with that. He wouldn't respond with remarks. And I noticed it too. Belal picked up on it. Whenever Leon talks, it sounds so weird. Obviously I can understand what he's saying, but he's like, oh. You just like the way he talk. I know it's his accent, but he's a strong UK accent. Like he has to really, he kind of mumbles too, and he kind of whispers. He doesn't really enunciate his words. So a lot of stuff he's saying, like if you're not keen or you never heard Leon talk, like you're not gonna understand what the guy's saying. So Belal was like, yo, speak up, like, really enunciate your words. Like we can't even understand you. And Leon, all he would do, he was just dismissive, He kind of did that in the Colby fight, but not necessarily. He had remarks going back and forth with Usman and Colby, but he was so dismissive of Belal this whole time. I thought, even though people are going to look at that press conference and be like, oh, Bilal's clearly an emotional person, it seemed like Belal was kind of getting under Leon's skin. And we see that as they're going to the face-off. Belal is the one. This is crazy. This is like real cinema. I'm telling you, Belal, I've always been a fan of Belal, but he's starting to win over me and a lot of other people with his mannerisms of the way he's carrying himself in this fight. He's not letting himself get, like big bro. He's the big bro now. I think people look at Leon's trying to little bro him, trying to disrespect him. Bilal's putting the hand in his face. Belal goes up there at the face-off, puts the headshot dead to his forehead, to his dome, right there. And Leon just stands there for a second. He's like, oh, this guy just really, give me one moment. Never mind. All right, my bad. He was like, basically like, oh, like this guy just did that? Like this guy just, he didn't give those facial expressions, but you could tell he was a little like, this guy really just stepped to me. And then he does a little flinch, the little forehead, he pretty much just, put his head forward. None with the hands, not like when Tank flinched on or tried to make Frank Martin flinch. He just kind of darted his head forward like a little bit, just that little, okay, I'm here. And most people, they will flinch, but Belal stood there like a champ. Belal, he didn't flinch at all. Now, some people, there's always this argument. I had this argument with someone when it came to the Frank Martin fight and the Gervonta Davis fight. Someone a guy, big YouTube channel, shout out to him. No beef, I think he thought that I was like, he's a weird guy, man. I don't know, respectfully, but I don't know. He thought that I was hiding his comments. No one was hiding his comments. I'm not scared to. I always leave my comments up, man. I've heard some crazy stuff, So it is what it is. Freedom of speech. I'm not gonna turn out the comments or any of that. But besides the point. He made the argument, and you're always gonna hear it, and I'm always open to hear it, that honestly, flinching is better in the fight because that shows that you have fast reflexes, and that shows that you're gonna be ready to dodge the punch when it comes. But on the other side of that, what does a flinch look like in a fight? A flinch in a fight makes you want to move in directions and makes the opponent control what you're doing. So if I flinch, and just like Leon did against Usman, I guess it wasn't really a flinch, but it was a little feint, and that he did the 1-2, and then he got Usman to duck onto the head kick, that little stuff. And that's high level stuff. That's stuff that you see at the highest level. So by Belal not flinching, he's showing that you're not in control of what I do. I'm going to do what I do. Obviously, he's going to try to block the punches and get out of the way of this stuff, but he's not going to fall for the little fakes. When someone's biting on some feints, that's when you really know that you're controlling the fight. You're controlling what's going on. What I do, you're reactionary. You're not acting, Everything that you're doing is based off what I do. So by Belal doing that, I think that's actually huge. But I can see both sides of the spectrum. You could say, oh, he doesn't want to get slapped like like Crawford did when Crawford was about to punch Jose Benavidez. The guy weaved out of the punch. You never know. But in my personal opinion, I don't think you have to worry about that with a guy like Leon Edwards. So Belal, I think it's just situationary. I think you just got to know who you're dealing with. Or like Caleb Plant, Canelo, it happens. But for the most part, people aren't going to put a fight in jeopardy just for a little, punch or slap, because that can escalate. I seen it was a UFC fight. They got close together. They were, head to head. And then the guy pushes him, and then he dislocates something, and the fight's canceled. And now you don't even make money. So I think the fighters they're aware. I think, when Leon does that, he's a smart person. He's not like, I don't want to say he's not built like that. Obviously he's gone through a lot in his life, but I don't see him as someone who would crash out like that or, go out there and punch his opponent just because he put a hand to his forehead, or to the side of his head. So I thought that was a really cool moment. I think that's going to get clipped. I already made my own clip, like I said, Belal Army, Belal Nation, Palestine Nation, Chicago Nation, all that type of stuff. But yeah, I'm supporting the man. I'm getting behind him. I already posted the clip, man. We're Leon K, England K, all that type of stuff. Because at the end of the day, I don't know why people like Leon so much. I think the head kick kind of changed the trajectory of his whole career. Because prior to the head kick, Leon was thought about in the same way as Belal, even worse. So I don't understand this switch up. Like Leon doesn't have this like almighty personality. Like Belal has a better personality than Leon. He's a way cooler guy if you really like dig deep into his stuff, So I don't know why people love Leon so much, or why there's such a contrast in people liking Leon and people liking Belal. All I can think of is the fight style, but I think a fighter is much more than just how they fight in the cage. You got to look at the intangibles, how they carry themselves, how they're promoting the fight. Colby's, a very hated guy, very polarizing guy, and he doesn't fight that much different than Belal. He's a lay and pray guy. Obviously, he has the volume on the feet, but I really don't understand the love for Leon that he gets. When he gets to these press conferences, he just starts waffling like, "Oh, I'm gonna knock you out, headshot dead. Like I'm just gonna like let me drink that bottle of water." He says so. I don't know. He just, and half the time you can't even understand what he's saying. He just starts waffling, No personality, really, unless you step to him. Like, it's really nothing there. At least Belal was bringing something. He was, going at him for that type of stuff. And he's just a cool guy, man. Leon's boring, man. Leon Scott, man. Like, we're not worried about this guy. Ultimately, The only thing that Leon is, I hate to say it, but yeah, he's not really much without that belt. Obviously he has the fans around him, but I mean the personality's lacking right there, So, but I think Belal, if he can really lean into the Khabib connection, he can actually be something huge. I think Leon's reached the pinnacle of his stardom, but we'll see. I mean, if he goes out there and knocks out Belal and shows that killer instinct that he was lacking in the Colby fight and fights before, we'll see, man. I mean, maybe he could be something bigger, but I don't no personality, and then he has a boring fight style. That's what saves a guy like Adesanya. He'll have these boring performances, but he'll go at the press conference and talk about, oh, I'm not gonna say his name, but that guy who thinks he's African, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna do him dirty. I'm gonna do a TikTok dance over his grave, all that stuff. So he has that mic skills. Leon has none of that. He's pretty much a boring guy. He had a tough upbringing, obviously, has a brother in Bellator, but he's a good striker with not a lot of personality. I mean, you gotta have one or the other. So I think Belal's bridging that gap, and Belal is doing the things that Leon's lacking. I think that's pretty much it. That's what's putting them over edge, and I think that's what's winning over the fans right now. We'll see. I mean, you can win over all the fans you want, but if you're not winning the fights, it's not really gonna matter. So this is the pinnacle. This is the one. And like I said, man, at the end of the UFC 304, it's going to be and new. Peace out, Moscar. You know what it is.